This is a mechanic that's been added to game that should in theory be making it much easier for us to find the set items that we all love and need, but with very little success stories so far. So today we're going to be testing this out and see how long it takes us to actually find one of the set items from the set we've selected. Let's do this. So with the set hunter event, this is in game for quite some time, and this allows you to select a specific set that you hope to drop in your dungeons. So this means that you have a % chance rate of gaining these set items when you run a dungeon and when you get a green item that drops. So you can select any of the sets in game. As you can see here, I'm selecting Angmets as I'm looking for some Inferno 7 pieces of this set, and you can see I actually have a 100% chance of this being my next set drop. But the issue isn't so much the set hunter event, it seems to be the drop rate of green items. So a lot of people have been mentioning that the drop for green items seems to be a lot lower than it was before the last update, before the Inferno 7 update in game, and I must say I do agree. Now I'm just running normal dungeons here. I generally run normal more than challenge dungeons. Yes, I know there's a lower percentage chance of the green set items dropping in normal dungeons, but I can run a hell of a lot more normal dungeons with random party than I can challenge dungeons when I end up carrying. And you can see I don't always use the highest damage build in these dungeons. I generally just use the build that's fastest for me to run with. So I am going to run several dungeons in this video, and we're going to see how many we need to do with my 100% drop chance rate before we actually get that green item to drop from the set hunter event, because I'm finding that quite often I'm not getting my drops until pity drop at the moment, and that applies if I'm running challenge dungeons as well. So it can be a real slog to actually get the set items you want just because they're just not dropping. So let me know if you've had this experience. This is what a lot of people have been feeding back to me in game as well as on my channel. A lot of people have said the event idea is great in theory, but the problem is that, yeah, the drop rate seems to have diminished for a lot of people for those green items. And obviously there's a lot of us that use different builds for different things. I have a couple of PvE builds. I have 3 PvP builds I alternate between, and having set items for each one can be a complete nightmare to try and find. And not all of us have time to grind dungeons 24/7. You know, I try and keep things real on my channel. I'm someone that, yes, I do play Diablo a lot. Yes, I do cap my battle pass, my rifts, everything that needs capping I cap every week. But I don't have time to sit here and play the game 20 hours a day because I have other responsibilities in life and my job and everything as well. So I think it's sometimes really easy to think that we just sit here making these videos all day and that it's easier for us, but honestly it's just as frustrating a lot of the time. So I hope you won't have to queue too long for the next dungeon, and we'll see if we get the Angmets this time. We still have that 100% drop chance. So we've got Tomb of Fahir this time, which this is one of my favorite dungeons to run in the party. It's always super quick to run. And it's so funny because, you know, I remember doing dungeons when I was new to the game and everything used to be so difficult. I remember it used to take quite a while to take the icons down in this dungeon, whereas now it's literally, you just take them down in seconds without even thinking about it. It's actually quite nice to reminisce about old times like that. But yeah, Tomb of Fahir is actually one of my favourite dungeons to play, to be honest. I really enjoy this. Let's just head to the other side to see if they need help. Nope, they've just managed to take their icon down as well. And yeah, I like this dungeon. It's one of my favourite ones. I'd say my top 3 dungeons are Cavern of Echoes, Destruction's End, and then Tomb of Fahir. Those are my top 3 for me personally. Based on the speed of being able to complete them, they're all really quick dungeons to complete. Obviously the first 2 are quicker than this one, but yeah, they are all pretty decent to spam if you want to spam a specific dungeon. So yeah, I'm hoping I find Angmets in this run. I am looking for quite a few sets at the moment. A lot of my set pieces are still Inferno 6 in PvP, which is not ideal at all. And when I do find the one that I need, quite often it only has 2 gem slots instead of 3, or it has the wrong color gem slot, or it's just absolute crap and it's nowhere near the stats that I need, or it maybe doesn't have the attributes that I need. I can't talk. Maybe doesn't have the attributes that I need, and obviously having the attributes correct for your class and correct for your setup is huge. For PvP, I generally try and go for more potency because a few of my builds have dots in them. And yeah, so going for the right gear makes a big difference. And obviously it's not so bad now that we can enchant gear, because you can enchant oh lord, I really cannot talk. You can enchant the magic and actually get the specific magic attribute that you're looking for sometimes, but it can also be a little bit of a gamble and quite a use of materials. So this run has given us absolutely no greens again, even though we have that 100% chance. So that is something to bear in mind. The 100% chance doesn't mean you're going to 100% get a set item in the next run. So the pity drop does still count here. And I think that's something that may be confusing a few people as well. I think maybe a few people think that once it gets to 100%, it guarantees that you're going to get that set item. And unfortunately, that is not the case. Now, this dungeon, Tristram Cathedral, is probably the worst dungeon in the game. I don't know, I really dislike this dungeon. There's a few others that aren't great. Dread Reaver, the damage on that seems to be really odd. Dread Reaver, everyone seems to always have really low damage in that dungeon. I don't know why. And it just takes too long. And even Tristram Cathedral, I feel that this is a little bit like, I don't know, a little bit like excessive. Especially having to have 92 kills on this part, having to kill all the cultists. I feel like it's, yeah, unnecessarily long, this dungeon, because there's so many different phases in it. And it's kind of sad because obviously we're always all asking for new dungeons. There's quite a few zones that we've got in game that haven't had dungeons, new zones that have been added to game that do not have a dungeon. And people always mention that they'd like new dungeons in game, but if they're anything like Tristram Cathedral, then I do not want it. I'd prefer to see more things like Cavern of Echoes, where it's just like a straight run, where it's something that can be really fun to play and try and speed run friends with. I do enjoy doing speed runs with some of my friends every now and again. Let me know if that's actually something you'd like to see. If you'd like to see me speed run on specific dungeons against Jeezy, or maybe my friend Zion, who most of you know as Chirag Gaming, because those speed runs are always quite a lot of fun to do with friends. And both those guys are in my warband, so I can quite often bully them into doing something that is more fun for content. So yeah, I'm hoping that we get the green drop from this dungeon. We'll have to wait and see. As I said, it's a little bit of a slow one to run, so apologies. Normally within sort of, we're 7 minutes in? Normally within this time, if you get Cavern of Echoes or Destruction's End, you could have run 4 or 5 dungeons by now. Cavern of Echoes, I find, generally takes under 2 minutes most of the time to complete. And same with Destruction's End. Destruction's End doesn't take very long at all, whereas dungeons like this, they really do like waste our time really when we're trying to earn battle points and that. And dungeon spamming is exactly what everyone has to do at the end of that battle pass season to try and gain those points. So that was partly what I was doing when I was filming this video as well. But I wanted to film it when I had that 100% drop chance for the Anglet set, so that we could see how long, even with 100%, it's going to take us to actually get that item to drop, and whether it's going to end up just being the pity drop as well, because that is what a lot of people are finding. Even with challenge dungeons, it's generally only the pity drop they're getting, and not really getting many greens at all. I know a few people that spam specific dungeons back to back in random parties or in parties with friends, and even for them, they're not really getting the drops or the drop rate that they were getting for green items. It just seems to diminish. I swear, every time there's an update, it seems to diminish. So we've got the set item this time. We've got Anglet's Arrogance, and we just have 1 green that has dropped, which is a little bit disappointing. It would have been nice to have got a second one there. But let's now head out of the dungeon, and we'll take a look at exactly what the item is that we've got, if it's an upgrade, and if it's any good. So let's have a look. So no, it is not an upgrade, and just really disappointing. 1 magic attribute on that. So currently in this in this build that I'm using, I've got Vitus on the finger there, and Anglets I use in PvP. So you can see it's also reset back to 0 for the percentage. So with Set Hunter, how this works: during the event, you can select a set you wish to hunt and obtain, and the drop chance of your selected increases as follows. So if no selected set on the first drop, chance increased 22%, then it goes up to 33%, then 50%, and finally 100%. But as I said, the issue doesn't seem to be so much that the items that people want aren't dropping. It seems to be either the quality of the item, as you've seen, I've got one that's absolute crap, or the fact that a lot of people are grinding away with it being a 100% drop chance, but then they're not actually getting that drop until the pity drop. But that's it from me for this video. Let me know if you've been having this issue with this event in game as well. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.
Official Diablo Partner.